What is up, everybody, on the Friday version of the crossover with Ryno? How's everybody doing? I'm gonna be that guy. It is the weekend, I guess, kinda watching with intent eyes right now. San Diego State, SDSU, go Aztecs. They're playing Bama right now. If you didn't know, if you can't tell, I'm an Aztec. Um, see if they can pull this one off, man. 3-2. Game just started. So looking forward to see how that goes. Hey, join the show. Seriously, join the show. All you got to do, click the link in the chat. I'll see you over here on the screen. Follow YouTube rules. No nudity. Watch your cussing. Don't be a bag. And we can have some fun. So that's what this is all about. That's why we call it the crossover. It is a busy Friday. Real busy Friday. Decent amount of stuff going on. Obviously, the tournament. We can recap the tournament from last night. Shout out to the con man, Connor, his UConn Huskies getting it done. They move on to the Elite Eight. They put the whooping on Arkansas. So, yeah, Mus's shirt, that stayed on last night. So you didn't have to worry about that whatsoever. I'm sitting here putzing around for a second. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Shout out to my boy Wells. Again, remember Wells, he did the graphic and he put that together so quick. And I love it. It's just, it's so like basic, but so great. And he reached out to me and we're going to do a couple updates. And so that'll be fun to do. So thank you, Wellesley. You are the man. All right. So the scroll, pay attention to that too. We've got a lot of different shows going. I will be doing the Kings pregame show on If You Don't Like That at 6:30 tonight. The Kings are taking on the Phoenix Suns. Suns will be without Ayton, the big man. The big man will not be in Sacramento. That should help the Kings out. Obviously, Durant is still out. So I'll be doing the pregame on Grant's channel. Grant will have halftime and postgame coverage. I will be joining him for that. That should be a lot of fun. Sacramento closing in on the guaranteed playoff berth. Really hard to believe that they are going to be where they're at in the playoffs. So I know everybody in Sacktown's excited about that, regardless of what Sacramento does. They're playing with house money at this point. So, but my guess is most people are going to be watching NCAA basketball. We will do a one shining clone update too today after the first part of the Elite Eight has been set. So interested to see who's in the lead. I'm sure somebody will pop in here and tell us, but yeah, we'll get to that. But again, busy Friday. DJ Haunted Horse Show tonight. Go check that out. Go to HollywoodRejects.com. He will be live. It's a fun show. It's a fun show. You get to correspond with Haunted Horse, get to hear some music, see some music videos, make fun of him for all his excessive. And when I say excessive, I mean excessive cough drop usage. And I'm not talking about drops. I'm talking about literal cough drops. That dude will eat like an entire bag of Halls before like the 7th video is shown. And we are on hernia watch for those that don't know. We're thinking about doing one of those, the Super Bowl where you do the squares. We're thinking about doing that for Horse. Horse got a hernia and it's popping out. And this dude needs to go have surgery, but the consummate professional that Haunted Horse he is pushing through it. So we were going to do some bets on which show the hernia would actually pop out, but who knows? Could be tonight. If you think it's a good idea, we could do it. I mean, we got the March Madness bracket that Liz in Falls City set up, one shining clone. So why couldn't we do a hernia bracket? I mean, is it going to be the HD show? Is it going to be tonight's show? Which hour of the show? Whatever. Um, don't forget Mark Moda. He probably is doing an Outlaws and Potatoes show tonight, I think. As I say that, I will double check to see if he's posted anything about that, but I'm guessing he is doing one tonight. Let's see. Let's see what old Frankie boy's doing. So, and I appreciate the love, Frank, on the retweet of the show. Let's see if Makmoto's got a show tonight. He runs the Outlaws and Potatoes space. That one's actually a lot of fun. Good times, good talk. There is some really, really, really weird things and people that can pop on that show. If you listen to the show, then you know what I'm talking about. Like people, not even from America, from all the parts, or all across the world. Mock Moda is in. He might be doing a show. So, all right, there you go. Thug Spud. If there wasn't Mock Moda, would it be Thug Spud? No, that's a good handle. I like that, Frankie. So, yeah, and then that's pretty much it for the shows. Tonight, I don't think there's really anything else going this weekend. Yeah, very diverse. It's a cool group. It's a cool group of dudes. And Frank's got his musical talents as well. This guy, I'm telling you, he can hit the is it called a six string or whatever, Frank? He knows how to play. So, anyways, it is a fun time as always. Shoot, San Diego State, they're hanging in there right now with Bama. I know it's early. How about last night's games? Last night's games were crazy. The Michigan State game in Kansas State. Wow, wow, wow. New York, Madison Square Garden was treated to a pair of great games last night. Florida Atlantic, whew, what is going on with them, man? It's one of those things, and I talked about this, I think, maybe on the crossover, maybe it was on one of Grant's shows, but with basketball these days in the NCAA tournament, the reason you're seeing all these upsets is the fact that they're not actually upsets. Like you got to realize that now. They are not upsets. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? One of my roommates. Here we go. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow with that. One of my roommates when I was there, he's actually an assistant coach still for them. Coach Dutch, who's the head coach, he was an assistant coach when I was there. Coach Fisher was the head coach at the time, and Dutch was kind of training, or not training. What am I saying? Not training. He was kind of Coach Fish's protege, waiting to take over once Fish hung it up, which he eventually did a few years ago. So it was a seamless transition. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying, the parity in college basketball is incredible. And I mean, everybody doesn't really pay much attention to college basketball during the regular season because the tournament's what, the casual fan cares about. But these big schools, the blue bloods, right? Your Kentuckys, your Dukes, your Michigan State, you could even say to a degree, not so much the last few years. They get the one and dones. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about James in Portland like one and done. I'm talking about one and done basketball players. They come there for a year because they have to. Didn't mean to say come there. They attend for a year, play in the program for a year, and then go to the NBA. That's the only way they can get to the NBA now, unless they sit out a year from high school. So because they get those players, and those are the most talented players, I guess, individually talented players, there's not a lot of cohesion with the teams. And those teams, they have fifth-year guys on the team. They have fourth-year seniors on the team, but those are the guys that look like the ball boys that never touch the floor. that look like they're not even basketball players. And I assure you, they're really good. I was one of those guys, but I wasn't that good. Um, yeah, they stay 4 or 5 years. Why wouldn't you? You get a free education, you get to travel the country, you get to be on national TV, get a ton of free gear. Um, like sure, absolutely. But so there's so much turnover with the big schools, but they're always there near the top and in the top 25 because those players are so talented, the one and dones. But then you see a team like Florida Atlantic, right? They are the oldest team in the tournament. And by oldest, I mean they have the most seniors and they have the most guys that have stuck together. So that unit is they are just all on the same page. They think about like when you like if you played sports growing up and into high school, you know how you played with that same group of guys for 8, 9, 10 years. Like you guys are going to be on the same page, so you guys might not be able to beat anybody else on the team one on one, but as a team you guys can knock off a top 25 team, a top one team. So that's why we're seeing 16 seats fall to one. It's not a shock. And here's the other thing, kids are playing AAU basketball earlier now. And AAU was kind of around when I was coming up. High school was still the big thing. Like when you were playing basketball, because I'm 38. All right. So, and if you hear anything in the background, my bad. My wife has a contractor over having some work done to the house, or we're going to have some work done to the house. And I just figured I would come on here and just do the show because I'm not going to have any say in the decision process, anyways. So she's going to pick everything out. So happy wife, happy life. But my studio's being worked on. So I'm happy about that. Getting a studio that away in the garage. So, anyways, getting back to what I was saying, the AAU basketball, we had high school. That's largely where you got recruited from. Then you would have some summer camps. There was like Nike League and stuff like that, but now these kids are playing basketball year round, like competitive basketball, traveling around the nation. So the talent pool for the NCAA is ridiculous. And the fact of the matter is basketball is not football. There's not 50 spots, at least 50 spots on the roster. There's, you can in the NCAA, I think you can dress 13 or 14. You've got a couple practice players. You've got your red shirts. Then you've got your team managers. Team managers usually will practice with the team sometimes, depending on the injuries that are going on. Team managers will usually always be NCAA eligible, just in case they've got to throw a uniform on one of those dudes. And a lot of times, little known fact, team managers will actually practice with the girls' team. That's really cool. When I finished playing, I actually got to practice with the girls' team, and you have to be NCAA eligible to do that. Those girls are talented, dude. Though one of my worst injuries came from playing against the girls' team. I'm not gonna lie to you. Uh, so yeah, I tried to raise up on one of them, and it was not a good idea because they decided to take a charge, and I broke my elbow. So, anyways, getting back to what I was saying, you only dress 14, 15. So, football, 52, 63 in the NFL, smaller rosters. So, there's only, or I should say, smaller rosters in basketball. There's only so many places for these guys to go play. So, you're seeing that talent spread out to smaller schools, and you're seeing kids decide they want to keep playing. So, um, there's a lot of kids that could go to San Diego State. They're on the rise, right? They're fifth in the tournament. They were ranked in the top 25 at points throughout the year. There's kids that'll get the offer of being an invited walk-on to San Diego State with no promise that they're going to touch the floor or even be on the team. Or a small school, say at it's I can't even use that school anymore as an example. Let's just say a small school, right? In the tournament that you normally see as a 16 seed. They say, hey, you can get a free education. We'll give you a full scholarship. You can come play here. We only have 1,000 people that go to our school, but it's a great school. Kids are deciding to do that a lot more. So I'm telling you, the parity, that's why you see those upsets. And those kids that go to the smaller schools, a lot of them will never play beyond the NCAA level. So you're going to max out your 4 or 5 years. And so when you've been playing together that long, anything is possible. And those are good players. I can't emphasize that enough. Those are good freaking players. So, anyways, anybody listen to the Rome show today? The GMA Rome show. Yeah? No? Maybe? Okay. I only caught the tail. I caught about half of it. I caught the big head bet segment. There's some there. And there you go. Frankie saw it. Yeah, I caught big head bets. That one's always fine. And I know James called. That was interesting. Here's a question. Is James like really that funny? Is it his material or is it his delivery? Cuz and I like James. I have nothing against James. I think he's found a niche. He's a good caller, but it's just that he's a good caller. Like there's been like these comparisons between James and Brad. No. If you're comparing delivery or maybe just their voices sounding similar, then maybe, but Brad's on a different level. Brad is, yeah, he's stupid good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. That's what I was getting at, Frankie. It's his James. It's his delivery and goofiness, and it's if you guys saw the wood scopes and Hawk was on there. I know Frank saw it. Um, like there's certain callers that are going to get the hammer, and you're just waiting for them to get that hammer. And it's like that. You're going to get that payoff moment. You don't know if it's going to take the show off the tracks. And that's what the goal of the show is, right? For a lot of clones, take the show off the tracks, like make it something completely different than sports that's hilarious. And Rome somewhat wants that, depending on the day, too. But and then the other point in the show is saying what Jim is thinking but can't say. So then it's like, if it's like OJ or a fat joke or something like that, he's thinking it. That's why it's always like, oh, Frank in Boise says, I would never say that, but Frank in Boise, Makmoda says, so those are the points of the show. But anyways, getting back to the James thing, he called. It's tired. He needs to be revamped a little bit. And I am not saying I am a great caller whatsoever or a great contributor, but just as somebody that's listened to the show for a little bit, or for a long time, I should say, like 20, close to 25 years now. It's time for some rehab, and I'm not sure why that brand gets so much run, because there are other guys that are going to get the hammer. If that's why it gets run, then why aren't the other guys that do that getting some of the same love? Like, I'm going to go straight to Rex. Like, you can say what you want about Rex, but Rex's delivery is better than James's, like 100% better than James's. And he's going to get the hammer at some point. It's going to be a growler. It's going to be, a Taco Bell bathroom joke. Like the hammer's coming. So, like, why? Maybe Rex hasn't been calling. I don't know. Maybe Rex has been calling and he's not getting through. But I think his brand's not tired to me. And what are we talking about? We're talking about poop. You know, it. Of course, it is. Don't start me. I will go straight conspiracy theory on you right now. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to do it here, but you know what I'm talking about on the tail end of that comment. Get it? Tail end of that comment. Um, John in New York. Yeah. Well, why? Why? Just because he's goofy? Like, I Jim! It's your bestest friend, John in New York. What is it about? Is it delivery? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the drizzle stuff. Maybe it's so bad it's good, right? Him trying to, like be drizzle. He's real. Yeah, no, he's real. He just says Jim like 10,000 times. um, you know, and he's very easy to impersonate. Um, I, I I've heard a few people that have tried to do that on the show in the past. Not gonna say any names, but yeah. So the dude, yeah, the mutt. Yeah, I already have my idea about who that mutt is, but again, I'm gonna leave the tail end of that comment out. But I the mutt. Here's the thing about the mutt. Sometimes the mutt's good, and I think the mutt Southfield. eh, Jeff's. So here's the thing. Jeff's a delivery guy too. Okay, but some of Jeff's references can go over your head. Um, like a lot of his references have gone over my head. I know his last call, it wasn't it was fairly straightforward stuff you should be able to get, but he had taken a little bit off from calling, but I think Jeff's a good caller. I do. It's just you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta just you can't do the same thing over and over. Okay, me for instance, I'm Riverside, Baco, and Fresno, right? I hate on those cities because I live in Sacramento. If I just did that 24/7, then it would get really, really old. If that's the only thing you call about. So you gotta you still gotta find ways to mix up brand in, but you gotta do other stuff. And I think Jeff's done a decent job of that. I mean, he's been in a smack off. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. You need to know sometimes when to walk off, but at the same time, that can be very, very hard if you get freaking intoxicated with the Twitter attention. You get intoxicated with, thinking, oh my God, Jim Rome knows my name. You get intoxicated with the platform, knowing there's millions of people listening to you. You get intoxicated of, getting yourself reset. Like some people could just walk off on one call. Hell, what's the dude that Andy Pennant, the Eyes of a Goat? I forget his name. Legendary call to the jungle. Legendary. Never called again. And I know he's somewhere, something in New York, or I don't know who it was. It'll come to me though. But yeah. So Jeff, he's a delivery guy. And he did have that great first call. So what do you do from there? You sometimes that's the thing. Sometimes as a caller, maybe you need to hold back a little bit. You know, you have to. You can. Frank, let's use you. I know you're good with the instruments. You can sing. you're not gonna go all out when nobody's looking, right? Like you're gonna hold back depending on the audience. You're gonna save your voice, and you gotta maybe sure you could go legend if you're some of these guys with a call, but what are you gonna do from there? So that's why some people do too much before the smack off. Some people do too little before the smack off. Um, and then there's just some people that they're really not like great callers, but because they annoy the audience. And Jim knows that. Jim Love. Well, I don't know that's the reason, but some of those callers that annoy the audience the most, that is I think Jim placates the audience there by like loving on them. For instance, Matt in LA. You know, pull the curtain back. Matt and I are boys. I am super cool with Matt. We are very close. Love the guy to death as a person. And a lot of people can't stand him on the show, right? They can't stand his calls on the show. Matt is a completely different person away from the show, 110%. There are people out there that are no different than their shtick on the show. The show is their life. They live the show. They breathe the show. All they talk about is the show. In fact, their life revolves around the show. So there are those people. I have met them. But Matt is not one of those guys. Matt's great. I love the dude to death. Matt, by the way, thinking about you, all right, man. Anyways, yeah, so it's kind of the Rome reset. I don't know if there's really anything else Rome to talk about at this point. It's fun. It's a good show. I mean, it's a different show than it used to be. I'll shout out to the Stucknut boys. I'll bump around their website every now and again, or maybe like once a week, and they've got that little area that's like random take. You'll see random stuff pop up that maybe you heard like 10, 15 years ago, and you listen to it and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's hilarious. Or maybe you hear something that you've never heard before, and it's hilarious and it holds up. So I enjoy doing that, but it's a different show than it was back then. There's no doubt about that. Well, there's been different executive producers too. So, ultimately the buck stops with Jimmy. He chooses what goes on that show and what does not. I mean, the producer can put it in front of him, but Jim decides, just as any boss would do. It's not that I have inside knowledge. It's just how business works. But I think also, things have ratcheted back a little bit because of the, we're doing a show about the jungle right now. I'm doing 12 Wood show and Stucknut show right now. My bad, guys. Like it's CBS Sports Network, right? National TV. Got to be a little bit careful there. I do notice, though, the show does loosen up on the days that they are not on TV. By the way, FYI, I do not have a score, or I don't have a drop like the other boys. I don't have the mixer so I can do drops, but I will be getting one though. Score alert. SDSU 15 or Alabama 15, SDSU 13. If you go back and you listen to yesterday's crossover, or if you go listen to Grant's shows, I called this so far. I absolutely called this. So I freaking called my damn shot. I said that if they can get Alabama not shooting the three ball well, because that's what Alabama does. They shoot the three ball really, really well. They take a lot of threes. They're an offensive team. SDSU, not an offensive team. They're a defensive team, but they can make other teams play ugly. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. 15-13. Excuse me. SDSU 16-15 with 6:27 to go in the first half. Alabama only has 15 points. Knock on wood, with 6 minutes to go in the first half. SDSU has the freaking Seahawk trait where they make teams play ugly. They just have weird scores. Like if you ever look at Seattle Seahawks scores, especially in the first half, it's like 2-9. The hell do you get to 2-9 in football? Anyways, but SDSU, here's the other thing that I said before. SDSU, they have athletes. In the NCAA tournament, it's about matchups. And SDSU can match up with anybody. Now, as a group, they're not as talented as some of the other guys or some of the other teams and individual players in the tournament. But these boys are athletic as hell. So individually, they can match up with Alabama. And Dutch and Coach Fish, they always, especially that's one of the things that turned. Hopefully he's not injured. All right, he's good. That's one of the things that turned the program around when they started drafting Kawhi, or not drafting, when they started recruiting Kawhi. They changed the style of athlete that they recruited, and ever since, it's the program has just, and the program was turning around while I was there. Credit to Coach Fish, 100%. But yeah, the recruiting that they did and the type of players they targeted was much different than it had been prior to me being there, which is probably why the program struggled. Yeah, that's what SDSU. They're defensive. They're physical. Yeah. Alabama, when you're an offensive team, you do not like that. I'm telling you right now. Like the Golden State Warriors in the NBA, they don't like that shit. Draymond likes to, but it's, I don't want to say the pretty boy stuff, but it's more of threes, and motion offense. It's not down low, grind you out like the old school Pistons. I can name a couple other teams, but even the Chicago Bulls to a degree. Yeah, no, they are. That's that. Yeah, dude, I'm with you, brother. I'm absolutely with you, and that's what SDSU does. I was telling Napes that's what I told him. I called my shot. If I was a betting dude, I would have taken SDSU money line tonight. I wouldn't even taken the points. In fact, with the one shining clone bracket, I had SDSU winning the championship. I decided to back off of it because I didn't want to be a homer. But with the way this tournament's playing out right now, they get past them tonight. We may have something here. I do have them going in the national championship. The reason I didn't pick them in the national championship is I have Houston in the national championship. And Houston is a defensive team as well. So I went Houston. So, but SDSU, they are clawing right now, down 2. 5 minutes to go. They're at the line shooting free throws. We just missed 1. Just missed 2. Not good. As Coach Fish would say, you gotta make more than the other guys take. Oh boy, I could tell you some stories. Oh boy, I could tell you some stories from back in those days. Some fun times and some not so fun times too. But good times overall for sure. So, all right. Crossover. We'll be right back. We're taking a 30-second break. See you on the flip side. Don't go anywhere. More from the crossover, including a one shining clone update. Don't hesitate to get up in here. All you have to do is go to the top of the chat, click that link. Just do a Restream account. You don't have to pay anything. Email, password, whatever. You can come on the show. We'll talk. We'll shoot the shit. We'll do whatever. So don't hesitate to do that. And thanks for chatting it up in the chat. Shout out to my boy Frank in Boise. Never ever forget about Mock Moda. Anyways, all right. Crossover will be back in 30 seconds. All right. Crossover is back. All right. Let's check the one shining clone standings. Let's see what the heck is going on. Sorry, the elementary school is trying to tell me something about my son, but I don't need to read that right now because my son is home. So I can read that later. It's a group message. All right, let's get to one shining clone and get these updates in here. I think Tish was at the top in our last check-in. Oh, Liz, you're doing me dirty. Where is the bracket, Liz? Liz in Falls Cities, you unpinned it. Oh, you know what? I bookmarked it. All right, we're good. Sorry, I'm talking to myself like the camera's not even rolling. Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right. Trishine. I know, Trishine, you've been hitting me up on Twitter. My bad for not responding. Oh, yeah. See? I even got Aztec colors. That's the type of Aztec I am. Wait, go away. I like Wells, but I don't want to show the logo right now. All right. So still in first place. After that, IPA Chick Forever is in second. Golden Bake Warrior, third place. So we do have some separation right now. Okay. These were all a little bit bunched up earlier. Then we got Mock Moda, knows this guy. Nick in Fort Wayne, fourth place. Tied in fourth place. Tiffany Blossom in sixth place. Now these next two surprised the hell out of me. 512 Lumber. 512 is in sixth place. How about that? That is it. I love that. 512 is an awesome dude if you don't know him. But not a big sports dude. I mean, he loves his baseball, loves his Packers, but fifth place or sixth. All right, man. This guy, Hernia Horse, is tied in sixth place. Wow, you really. And by the way, Grant Napier shooting a T-shirt to the winner of One Shining Clone. So Haunted Horse tied for sixth with Lumber, also tied with them for sixth. Oh, we're log jammed at six. Holy moly. Got a bunch of people at six, like 5-6 people. We got Richard. Okay, Richard We got Grounded Falcon. We got Drew's Brew. And then Jim in Indiana. Jim in Indiana is still tied for 6th. Oh, then we've got that guy in 12th. You know who's in 13? Don't forget about Mock Moda. Texas, huh? Bold pick. Smart pick. It could be Texas. It really could. This is going to be the round that decides if Texas gets out. Thug Spud. Well, let me know. What's your question? Put it in there. So yeah, you're up there in the bracket. You're beating me. Then we got Tommy 14, 15 NPOB. Okay, not sure who that is. Liz 16, Left tied for 16th, and Ryno tied for 16th. Also tied for 16th. The Pool Dog. Somebody get that man a paper bag. Then we got 45 got fat. Tyler, Ty, and Oshkosh. Sydney, the Seawood, JJ. He's up there. 12 Wood, Wellesley. All right, we'll wrap it up. Any other notables? Pool Dog Jana, just a little bit down the list. East Bay Troy, a little bit further down the list. Silly, she is right behind tied with East Bay Troy. Margot, Stucknut. Who's last? Let's just go to last. That girl is last. Okay, Burn Dog, dude, Burn Dog. You're in 42nd. All right. So that's a roundabout way of doing the one shining clone update. Okay. I get this all the time on Grant's show. I haven't disclosed how ghetto that is, but I'd like it because it's kind of like my little King's Beam for the King's shows. This is actually MMA Taekwondo punching bag. My son does Taekwondo. I wrapped a King's blanket around it. And then I have a basketball, as you can see up there, that's signed by all of my teammates from my last game, senior day. So basketball is a little bit flat, though. So yeah, that is my ghetto rigged ode to the Kings and basketball and SDSU and all that. So if anybody from Napier show's watching, don't say anything. It's a secret. That's actually a punching bag. So don't say anything. Napier, if you're watching, you didn't hear that. Shh. It's getting quiet. You didn't see that. You didn't hear that. Shh. I'm just kidding. Being weird. Anyways, yeah, so that's what it is. I get that all the time. So yeah. SDSU up two. As much as I would love to be here and keep the crossover going, once halftime hits in a minute 12, I'm going to become a fan and I'm going to go watch this game. And I've got a 5 o'clock. I got to be at Grant show, 5 o'clock, and then the Kings pregame show at 6:30, which will be all me on the If You Don't Like That channel, and then halftime and postgame show, Kings, Grant Napier, Ryan in Sacktown, always fun. What an experience, man. Will STSU gas out? No, they won't. In fact, it'll be the opposite. They will. I would actually. So Frank, I would love. There you go. See, they are up in Bama's junk right now. See how they're. This is what SDSU does. They play that full court kind of fake defense, but they keep pressure on you at all points of the game. So no, they will not gas out. Now will Bama start making some shots? Possibly, but nope. See, charge going the other way. This is called it. Like I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. I already said it on Nate's show. SDSU is winning this game. So no, they're not gassing out, bro. They are not gassing out because first off, the show travels well. The show is our student section. Second off, this is what they train for. They do this every game of the season. But Frank, here's the thing: they're inconsistent. They've been very inconsistent. Lately, they've been more consistent, but when it comes to big games, they've been inconsistent. They're showing up tonight. They have shown up, and when they do show up, usually they stay. So, yeah. Um, I wouldn't say they're considerably smaller. I don't think it may be smaller at the guards, but if you're talking about like girth, are we gonna have the length versus girth conversation here? Strictly talking about basketball. We're not talking about James and Portland's Rome. SDSU is lengthy. Okay, so they might not weigh as much as some of the Bama dudes, but they're lengthy. And here's one thing about SDSU. SDSU has always made it a point to draft. Not why do I keep? Because I'm NBA talking. I'm so like hyper conditioned to NBA talk. Um, because I do so many of the shows with Grant, but SDSU has made a point to always recruit smaller point guards. Always. That's how I got my opportunity at SDSU. I was so replaceable. But the thing about me that wasn't replaceable was the hustle. And I knew my role. I knew I was never going to step a foot on the court during a game. But I brought it every effing practice and made those other smaller guards run their asses off like they're doing tonight. So, yeah. So there is some strategy there with how they recruit and the size. So, anyways, I'm pumped, baby. I am pumped. All right. Well, we're going to get ready to wrap this thing up. Dude, Frank, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming out, man, and commenting. I hope everything is good in your parts. I can't wait to get back out to your parts soon. I'd love, love, love that area. My brother, for those that do not know, is in Boise. And such a wonderful city. It is such a great city. It's just got a little bit of everything. It's awesome. So awesome. Downtown area all revitalized and just, dude, I love it. So, I will be out there soon. Soon, 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 soon. All right. Everybody have a great night. Do not forget, don't forget SDSU is winning this game. So if you're watching this on replay, I'm giving you this is not a prediction, it's a spoiler. SDSU will win this game. But don't forget Kings pregame, postgame, halftime show all tonight on Grant Napier's. If you don't like that, it is halftime. SDSU 28, Alabama 23. Let's you know what? No. LFG LFG. And if you end up doing a show, go check out Frank's Outlaws and Potatoes. He may be running one tonight. That's going to be a Twitter space at Mockmoda. Sorry about the mistake yesterday, buddy, by the way. That was the intern that typed that in. That wasn't me. So I had to fire him. So looking for an intern now again. So, all right, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, all right. That is it for Friday's edition of the crossover. I will see everybody on, maybe we'll do a weekend or a night version, depending on what happens this weekend with Kings and SDSU. You might get a special one, but if not, that's going to be Monday that the crossover will return. I will be back tonight with pregame coverage on If You Don't Like That, and for halftime and postgame on Grant's show. So as my boy Mock Moda said,